Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage Peck's barbecue and grill of Culver City, California, glass ashtray. When I looked at the back before getting the video set up, I thought it was painted, but then once I got the video up on the ashtray with a solid background behind it, I believe that may be some kind of screen printed sticker or maybe heat transference, something of that sort. Really not sure. I tried to look up Peck's Barbecue and Grill and got a Peck's Barbecue in Virginia that I don't believe was at all related. I did see another ashtray or two in a Google search that came up as 1970s. So this particular kind of ashtray may have been from the 1970s. Pretty cool. Not necessarily old, but vintage piece of advertising that you can use functionally in your smoking life today. See how that looks clear? At least it does to me. I tried to feel, it doesn't feel like a sticker, it just feels like paint. But once it had the background, it certainly, I don't know, maybe it's just the way the light is reflecting off of it. Doesn't really matter. My point here with this ashtray is that vintage glass is better than new plastic. So while the Peck's Barbecue and Grill at 11172 Washington Boulevard, what does that say? Something Sepulveda Boulevard, so I'm not sure what that's, maybe that's by way of, in Culver City, California. While they're out of business, it looks like the ashtray is still plenty usable. As I set this down here, make sure that you get a look at my Bob Dylan concert poster there. One of these days I'm going to have to do a video with that poster and my Bob Dylan tour merchandise Zippo. So you see this lighter, or I'm sorry, this ashtray in comparison to this brass camel ashtray in the background, just to give you some perspective as far as size. One thing about the things that I smoke and the people around me smoke is you may have an ashtray, that plenty of ashtrays where the side rests in, say, a tall plastic one will fit a regular commercially produced cigarette. It won't necessarily fit this kind, and then your cigarette's falling down in there. So to have a lower profile ashtray is helpful. It's also helpful to have an ashtray with 3 rests on it. There are plenty of ashtrays that are smaller like this that may only have 1 rest or maybe one across from the other, but for this one to have 3 is a plus in my book. Very functional and the kind of thing that you could just carry around with you, take around. It'd be easy to clean. It'd fit in a bag, wipe it off. and then you're not leaving a mess everywhere you go. That has the graphic of a chicken on a skewer or pit of some sort. Pretty basic. As I said, appears to me to be one color, but in certain light it does appear that there is an opaqueness or very shadowy white background. There is another one listed on eBay right now, and it looked much whiter than this one does at the current moment, much more like it did when it was up against the cardboard at the beginning of the video. So once again, you see how functional, how much, it's going to hold quite a bit of ashes. It'll hold a few lit cigarettes and several butts. Would be way better to ash in the most portable ashtrays. It's a sizable ashtray. You're not going to fill it up with in one sitting. Most people aren't. One thing, if you smoke these sort of things, then an ashtray that is made for cigars can be very cumbersome. The rests are way up on the side. I don't have enough room here to even, I've got one cigar ashtray in there, but I don't have enough room to sit it down. It's so damn big. Anyway, it's made for something big. These cigarettes are not big. They don't require that kind of ashtray. So that's why I like to keep these around. And as I said before, it is nice in this day and age when you consider what you consume, and we know the damage that making and producing plastic does to the environment, and the consumption of plastic, the damage it has on both the environment, wildlife, many aspects. People way smarter than me have discussed and outlined. But when it comes to many items like cigarette lighters and ashtrays, tobacco, other useful mechanisms like we talk about on this channel, then we are usually afforded the opportunity to use something vintage. In other words, pulling something out of the scrap heap or the antique shelf and putting it to use to light our joint or cigarette, or to ash them in, or whatever other mechanism or contraption from the olden days that you may come across. So I don't know if I'll be listing this ashtray for sale. I kind of collect them here and there, just what catches my eye and what I can use. I've talked about the one really nice one that got stolen off my front porch here in Mesta Park. Still a little hurt about that. But I do keep my eye open for the ashtrays, not so much as the lighters as I do for lighters, but I do keep my eyes open for them and search here and there, and we'll try to bring you some cool ones as we move forward. Got my Storm King everyday carry lighter here. A lighter that is in my pocket all the time. I don't think I've ever done a video on that one, so maybe I'll do a video on this lighter next. Until next time.